Afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Tuesday, July 29, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a time for change call tomorrow night, Wednesday, 30th of July, after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. What's exactly happening with the monetary system on the planet? When we look at the scope of everything on this planet, just this planet, not including all of the other planetary bodies through all of the galaxies and all of the solar systems and all of the universes interlinked and connected, it's pretty much endless. Billions of species, and interactive, and civilizations of all kinds, all appearances. It's a cornucopia of life. If you looked at the universe, not like from the, when you look up at the, you don't have any light pollution, you look from the surface of the planet up into the space, and you see all these stars, you actually see part of the Milky Way galaxy. But when you get really out there, it looks like a kaleidoscope of color. It's amazing. Every color you can possibly imagine and beyond. Planetary bodies, star system, suns, everything. And all of us are part of that. It's just one huge energetic container with all of these beings, including us, God's cosmic energy, all moving, forming, and shaping on a continual basis. Expanding, creating, experiencing, learning, manifesting. I mean, it's like on a continual basis that we are experiencing this and we don't know it. And we become, like here on this planet, we've become so in tune with organics, material physicals. And this is how we basically step through our lives. And in order for us to, you kind of picture there's a couple of doors in front of you. You've traveled a ways and then you come up to these two doors. You don't know what they're for. And then the one door begins to show you that this is a door to the unknown. So if you go through this door, there isn't really anything you're going to know that you'll have structured. You'll just go through the door and experience whatever. The other door is the door of, if you go through this door, you'll walk into your life. And it'll say that. You're going to walk into your life, your current life you have, with some surprises. Now, most of us would not go through the door of the unknown. And actually, the unknown is where all the possibilities are. See? And then we have these possibilities to experience them so that we can grow and we can advance. Most of us would go to the door to the left and say, a lot of people say, I'm not going to take my chance. I'm not going to go into that door. I don't care to. Because it's the unknown. And because of the unknown, that's where all the possibilities are. We negate the opportunity to progress, to advance. And through the door of the unknown, you're walking in and you're floating. It's like the analogy of the boat, laying back in the boat and just going downstream. And wherever it takes you, it takes you. And that's what this life is really designed for. You don't take it too seriously. You just float. You know that it is a cycle. And sooner, eventually the cycle of the body will end. And you'll move on. You, the God, the pure consciousness, will move on. And my direction or belief is that I believe that the physical should be, for the most part, up to us as gods. And obviously moving into heart-mindedness and out of ego mind, so that we could basically choose how long we wish to stay in a body. Now, obviously, all of us need, let's just say, longevity, longer time on this planet, in this lifetime, to experience things so that we get it. During the course of, let's just say, 60 to 80 to 90 years, it's not enough time. It's never been enough time. Because we come in asleep, and if we're fortunate enough, however long we're here, we begin to wake up. And that's the first phase, see? So if we have the first phase that we wake up, and then we start discovering, it takes a while. Does it make any sense that we go in and we reincarnate and we don't have any memory? And that's going to change, see? Because as we evolve spiritually into heart mind, out of ego mind, out of judgment into peace and joy and happiness, out of stress and anxiety through the ego, we will begin to comprehend and open up all the curtains to all our past lives. Be able to see them. Doing it from ego mind is very dangerous because of how the ego mind operates. So you can see the evolutionary steps that one would take to acquire this comprehension in the heart-minded end, and saying, okay, I have the ability to direct my life and stay as long as I choose. Number one. Right now we don't have that, so to speak. Number two, we look at our past lives and say, okay, that was interesting one, that was interesting one. Oh, I can't believe I did that, or I can't this or that. And you go through a complete line of forgiveness through all your past lives. You just forgive. And continually forgive. Everything. And let's say you're in your current life, but you've seen all your past lives. All of it, any bit you wanted to look at. So you forgive whatever it is, and you move on, because now you have a complete library of your past lives. And in this life, you discover what you want is to be intimate with the God that you are in that body. The God source, the kingdom of God, the heaven. And I know it's difficult for a lot of people to configure that in the small mind. Mind's a small container, can't comprehend much. And configuring it and adjusting to it, it's not like that. It takes a bit to acclimate to that philosophy that you're not the body and you're the God within the body. That you're all-knowing, all-seeing. That you're plugged in to all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. You just don't know it. Like I said, we all have a case of amnesia, and we really don't know a lot because of the amnesia. Okay? So what we're doing is that we kind of wing it. It's basically what we do. We come into a baby body, we're programmed by other people's thoughts. We grow, the body grows, and we just keep experiencing things. Other programs, other people's thoughts. And we're being lambasted with 60,000 thoughts every day over and over and over again. Isn't that amazing? And the funny thing is, they're not our thoughts. And directing our thoughts is, you know, the ego mind will take you into negatives. It'll shoot thoughts out there. The worst thoughts, left and right, constantly. You just say, well, these are just thoughts. I don't care to engage them. I'm not interested in engaging them. They're just thoughts. Period. So, but when you give out a thought, when you take the emotion and you send a thought to the universe, different. You focus on what you want. You've heard me say that thousands of times. It needs to be repeated constantly. You focus on what you want, and where attention goes, energy flows. And you'd be amazed if you're able to keep that and not stray away from it. Yeah, there'll be times where ego will send thoughts in and distract you, but you'll just say, I'm not interested in those. I'm not going to engage those. You're not ignoring. You know what they are. But you just aren't interested in engaging or putting any much attention on them, period. So you continue to send your thoughts to the universe, period, from the heart mind and from the God that you are. And you'll be amazed what happens. Staying in gratitude is another absolute huge power, energy. Staying in gratitude all the time, no matter what's going on, will lift you into a whole nother being. It literally will lift you into a whole nother being. And interestingly enough, it doesn't mean that you separate and become someone else. It just means that you move more and more into the knowing of who and what you are and how powerful you are. See, because the purpose of all this going on, which we've had a lot to do with creating it, believe it or not, everything, because we focused on certain things throughout the ages, and it creates. And a lot of this stuff that's been created is from how powerful we are. And you kind of call it the finishing of a form of existence, where all the people involved with this transition view, comprehend, and move into an ascendant of higher being. Because I believe more and more people are realizing that they are transforming, that they are going through a metamorphosis, that the same things don't apply anymore, that the things that they see don't really apply anymore. They've lost their adhesiveness. They don't stick anymore. And we have the opportunity to really, truly design the new life with everything that's happening that many don't know because of certain obstructions that are around and all the transitions that are going on. You're witnessing your thoughts materializing. Because a lot of people have put their attention on, they'd like what's happening to come to a close. They would like it to just vaporize. And they would like to move into a higher state of being. They don't know mostly what that all entails. But I've shared kind of like the blueprint of how that is done. You go into this meditation, right? You don't need, you're not looking, no outside distraction. You relax into your body. You're focused on your breath rising and falling, and you're still as a statue. That's the now. That's where you're at. That's heart-mindedness. We know what ego-mindedness is because that's what you leave when you're in this meditation. You go into heart-mindedness. You go into the now, moment to moment. You have to remind yourself constantly of the now because the ego mind does not care to have you be in the now. It only, because if it went in the now, it would vanish, wouldn't exist. So it constantly is at you trying to get you into its world, yesterday and tomorrow, where we suffer, where we worry, where we stress, where we fear. It's amazing. And throughout the ages, this is where most of us have really been. Lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. It's where most of us have really been. And what you do is you surrender, which means you're not giving up, but you're just letting go. You're letting things go. We should be in a mode of letting things go every day and being deeply grateful every day. And focusing on exactly what we want every day. Not a fixation, okay? Not expectation or attachment, but focused on what we want every day for ourselves. What happiness are we seeking which is inside of us? Where's the God? Is the God up there? No, God's within us. You're the universe, universe is you. You're God, God is you. It goes back to the drop of water in the ocean. You know, you hold the essence of the golden ocean, you drop into the golden ocean, you become the golden ocean. And it just depends on our programming, where we go, what we do, how we apply, all this stuff. So then we have the opportunity to move into the higher frequency. We know what that is. When you're happy and you're joyous and you're feeling good, and not for any particular reason, that's higher frequency. That's heart-mindedness. It's not ego-mind. Okay? Someone might say, "Oh, well, how do you know? How do you know that you're in a higher frequency?" It's when you feel good, feel happy. That's a higher frequency. Not depressed, not worried, distressed, or feared. But that's your heads up. Let's put it that way. That's exactly what the universe is communicating to you. And that which you seek, whatever it may be, is within you. You go within. See, a lot of people will seek outside because they don't realize that they are God and the God is within them and they can commune with the God. That's where all the answers are. And then you also have the ego mind sitting there knocking at your door, trying to get in, and all of these things. So you relax. You let go. You just let go of stuff. Whatever it is, no matter what it is, you just let it go. You know? My focus is on what I want, and that's it. Nothing else. And you get into the habit of doing that. You focus on what you want, and we also, we'll gear towards things that we don't want along the way. And we just stop ourselves. And we say, okay, all right, not going there. I'm not interested in that at all. Just let it go and give it to the universe. And we do the things that we feel helps or assists on focusing on what we want. Without, see, in ego-mindedness, we have expectations and we have attachments. We expect certain things, and we're attached to them. And when they don't occur, we get upset. We suffer. This happens to a lot of people. And so when that happens, we begin to realize that who's in command? Who's in command? You say, well, it seems like the ego mind is in high command. Then you sit there and say, okay, so I won't spend time in the ego mind. I will leave it alone, and I'll go in heart-mindedness. And I'll watch the ego mind. And I'll learn from it, and then I'll learn how to master it. And you master it by using the heart-mind. And then eventually it comes into heart-mindedness, and it realizes that all the peace that it was seeking is there, and it's been there the whole time. So it gets on the back couch and just sits there. Slowly but surely, it disintegrates. But not before you use it for certain things and direct it through heart-mindedness. So there's many things along the way that we can apply, embrace, and take with us on our journey. And then there's other things that you just say, not interested. Been there, done that, not interested in it. And you just move on. It's our choice of awareness and comprehending what we're doing. All of us, in our own way, are ascending. We don't stay trapped on a planet that keeps us in limbo for millions of years. Not knowing our past, not knowing our background, not knowing our origins, not knowing anything. Totally blank. This is not our natural state of being. And this is why, we have this opportunity in this lifetime to shift. It's like when the time comes that you decide to leave the body, right? And you got this light chasing you. But you say to yourself, you carry that information from that life to you that you learned that you're the light. But the light is chasing you. It's after you, okay? And you say to yourself, I am the light. I don't need to go into that light. Now, some have not gone into the light. What does that mean? It means they can go anywhere. This repetitive stuff that we go through in this quadrant of the Milky Way galaxy, in the outer rim, with this planetary system, on this planet, and we just go through this cycle over and over again. You ever notice that? We go through the cycle. If you went back 100 years, you would see the similar conflict that you're seeing now. Yeah, the clothes have changed and the people look different a little bit, but it's the same scenario. And it's been that way for millions of years. And when you realize the fact that that construct is not a natural state of being, it never was. And when you realize it's not a natural state of being, and you go into your natural state of being, you shift and change things. You hear, people on this planet right now are hearing things about, World War III again, and thermonuclear, and threatening each other, countries threatening each other, rumors out the yin-yang, indecisive information, non-committal stuff. It's a continual process that it befuddles people and it gets them frustrated. So this is when you shift. This is what I've just shared with you. You shift and you go into the direction of heart-mindedness. That's it. You create your life. And it doesn't matter what's going on around you. You attract. That's it. You're the magnet. You attract things into your life that you want. You do not attract things into your life that you don't want unless you are focused on what you don't want. Then you will attract the things you don't want. So when you're focused on stuff and you're saying, I don't care to have that, this is what I want. This is what I'm focused on, period. And you might have to repeat it thousands of times to back the ego mind away. And you realize that anything is possible. You get that deep within you. You comprehend that. Anything is possible. And believe in miracles. Anything is possible. And this is kind of self-programming because we have so much negativity flying all over the place all the time. Despicability and all kinds of stuff being revealed. And so our direction is not to focus on any of that stuff. Because guess what? You get stuck in there, it's like we have several lifetimes, and we'll attract it. We will attract it. Period. And it'll be in our lives, and then we'll have that kind of life. And we don't care to have that kind of life. We want the life we want, and we focus on what we want, not that other crap. Things that change on this planet is the majority of people focus on what they want from the heart mind, not the ego mind. Things would just like overnight transform. Benevolence, tranquility, happiness, joy, bliss would come in. They would be front and center. Not hatred, anger, pain, suffering, dishonesty, deception, all of those things. So you know what? It's our choice. It's no one else's choice but ourselves. We choose, period. And the reason that we choose is because we can. We always have a choice. You choose to focus on something negative that'll drag you down, well, then it'll drag you down. But if you're aware enough and say, why would I do that? That's not, no way, Jose. I'm going over here. I'm going to focus on this. Now, ask yourself the question, how many of us on this planet know that, how to do it? Interesting question, because there's not a lot. There's not a lot of people that know how to do it. Oh, they might talk about it. They might read books about it or something, but they don't know how to do it. Because you really do have to be in a form of confirmation of oneself. And things change. When you focus on your gratitude and happiness and joy, exactly the way it is in that very moment, and every single morning that you wake up, you are elated that you are alive. You're elated that you're alive. It's like, thank you, 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 thank you for this day. Because in order for this planet to transform, it is up to the gods that we are in these bodies to transform this planet into a much higher frequency and a higher dimension. And the dimension that we look at is 5D. How do you create a 5D dimension with yourself? You increase your vibrational frequency. You move into heart-mindedness. Right? You meditate every day. You focus on what you want. You focus on being in heart-mindedness, being in the now, every waking moment. Not a fixation. Practice. It's a practice, 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 practice. And as time goes by, you'll notice the big shift and how things transpire totally differently. See, so many on this planet believe that they're powerless. They don't, what am I going to do? What can I do? And it's crazy because you could create the life in the middle of a cyclone. You could create the life you want in the middle of a cyclone. With all this stuff going on around you, you could create the life you want. Period. Because you don't care to have that, you've been out there, and you don't care to be there. I'll join you in meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through your nose. And an easy and slow breath out from your mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body. Focused on your breath rising and falling. Forgive yourself completely. You're as innocent as a newly born child, here to explore, to stumble, and to rise again through each sacred lesson life offers. Your soul is on an infinite journey, and it has never made a single mistake. What you once called wrong was only the mind reacting to unmet expectations, misplaced attachments, or forgotten truths. There's nothing to fix, only more to feel, more to see with love. Everything that has unfolded has been exactly what your soul chose. This moment, too, is part of your divine curriculum. So take a breath and rejoice. All is well. All is unfolding. All is love in disguise. Sending all of you lots of love, laughter, and lightness. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and the following morning. We'll return here Wednesday, July 30th, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call, and after 9:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our Time for Change call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.